Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this issue of Somerset City. I'm Eric Taylor. I'm your storyteller and your host and your game master and all those things. And over there in the storybook are the comic book, I guess, because it's Somerset, are four people who are going to do things that will progress this world forward and will have consequences, which I was talking to them about before stream. Shiny B, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Fine.
Sorry, it's an Australian thing. We ask each other how we are.
In America, we don't actually care.
Yeah. In England, we care. In Australia, we don't care. We just ask the question. So.
And we just eliminated the middleman in America, where we're like, we could be polite and ask, even though we don't care, or we just won't ask, which is what we do.
Yeah. Oh,
but I did ask
asked.
how you were because I do care.
Yeah. Oh, okay, that's
nice.
That's
true. And then people like Frito do ask just to be polite, but he's nicer than me. Speaking of people who are nicer than me, Katie's here.
Hey. I'm really excited to be here.
I'm glad. I also do care how you are, but I was trying to carry on the joke by not asking, but I do care. Speaking
Thank
of
you.
other people, I do care how they are. How are you, Sarah?
I'm doing good. I can't wait to find out what Gabby found out last time.
You may never know.
No, I need to know.
That is true. Speaking of people who probably need to know things, but may not find out, it's Jeff. How are you?
It's me.
It's
I'm great.
Mario Jeff.
It's a me. Nano.
That's true. It depends on if Gabby remembers what happens last week.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of which, last week you guys woke up on some couches and you did some discovering of things, specifically that you'd become Justicars in this new version of the world, but that you had sold out and that Margaret was kind of hugely avaricious and wanted lots of money and kind of greedy. All of which really mean the same thing. So just in case you didn't know what avaricious meant, I just explained it to you. And so she'd formed like this super photogenic group of people. We learned that Gabby's inner rage had come out and she was kind of mean and awful. And Duality mostly was good at posing and posturing, but didn't ever really seem to help anybody, if the paparazzi are to be believed. Also, Jack has a polyester suit. These are all things we learned last time on Somerset City. This time on Somerset City, Gabby, you are coming to from your little mini seance self-vision thing. And I am going to roll a dice here, and that dice roll will determine how many sentences you get to tell your friends that you remember. You get a 2. So you have 2 sentences. What do you remember?
We're not there, right?
No, I mean, she's awake now. Like, you're all in.
No,
Well,
I
we
mean,
were at the
we
doctor's.
went to the doctor's.
Oh, that's true. You're not there. So you get 2 sentences to tell Margaret.
And Kyle. We were all in the same living room.
That's true. Kyle is here. He doesn't care about you, though.
Katie, the player, is currently stressed out
You should be stressed out. That's fair.
on the second.
Choose wisely. No, that's cursed.
Okay. I've chosen.
All right. I hope you have chosen wisely. Unlike that guy in the Indiana Jones movie.
Oh my gosh.
Because it would really be unfortunate if you turn into a old withering husk.
I'm so stressed out right now. Okay. First of all,
So you come through, and Margaret, she's been kind of like in front of you, and she kind of snaps to.
first I look at Kyle and I say, "Who are you really?"
Kyle. The canary, the songbird, the
You weren't you just now.
what are you talking about?
Margaret, do you remember what the painting said?
How drunk are you?
You mean man on a bike?
Yeah.
He said lots of things. He wasn't very nice to me.
He told me I'd come in contact with someone a few times. Someone who could change the way they looked.
Oh, I remember that.
Who are you?
I'm Kyle Conroy.
Margaret, something is wrong. I heard a voice say, "Go back to sleep."
In
So that's one.
when you were dreaming?
Oh, that wasn't two. Okay, I'll take that.
No, just one.
Okay.
Because the other things you remember, you've also heard other places. So
I heard a voice say, "Go back to sleep," and I felt strange and it was painful. I don't know what's happening.
I haven't known what's happening since this whole thing started. It's very confusing.
and Gabby, as you're like looking at Margaret, you kind of feel this fog in your head, and then everything's gone.
Everything?
Everything.
Like
So
from
even
that
what-
first one, or this even with Paul?
Yeah, everything that has interacted with that kind of out of body sort of experience. So
And the
everything-
Kyle thing I just said?
Yep. So everything
Okay.
that you did in the bar, everything that you've done here, it's all just
Gone.
gone for you.
Okay.
And so you kind of, Margaret, you watch as Gabby sort of like looks at you, and then they blink out, and it's all, and she's just looking at you.
Do you remember anything else?
What? What?
About what you heard when just a minute ago? You said you heard someone tell you to go back to sleep.
What? Oh, why do I have this headache? What do you mean? I just told what?
Well, you told me that this is confusing. You heard things and And you saw the butterfly again? The blue one? Why have I never seen these blue
Margaret.
butterflies everybody keeps seeing?
Margaret, what are you talking about?
And now you don't remember it all?
I look over at Kyle.
I mean, you've been saying some pretty weird stuff, Gabs.
I have?
Yeah.
What?
You need to probably drink a lot less. Probably as a general rule.
I've been drinking?
Oh, yeah. It's probably where that headache you're complaining about came from.
What is going on? What did I tell you, Margaret?
You heard someone tell you to go back to sleep. And you asked Kyle who he really was.
Okay.
Hmm.
I don't really know what to say. That didn't happen for me.
It sure seemed like it did. But now it's just gone, huh?
I guess.
Tell me if you hear anything else odd or see any blue butterflies.
Oh, okay.
Meanwhile, across town, Chastity and Jack, you guys are being taken back into the observation, into like the lab room. And the girl, takes your blood pressure, does all those kind of things. Everything seems normal. And she tells you that the doctor will be in a few minutes. And she leaves the two of you to discuss your new circumstances together for a moment, should you choose to.
Pregnant, huh?
Yeah.
That's a new one.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I remember having a child, but then not.
I mean,
It
you
feels.
had hope.
Yeah. And I didn't have hope. I didn't. This whole jumping realities is driving me crazy.
Uh-huh. Yeah. I kind of hope that we don't do it again. Frankly.
Yeah.
Do you think I mean, they said critical time. Do you think the baby's okay?
I hope so. I really, yeah. I hope it's okay.
And the door kind of cracks open. And this little blonde, bleached blonde doctor kind of comes in, just wearing purple scrubs. And she looks around, she's like, "Hi, I'm Dr. Kwan. How are you feeling? How are the babies doing?"
Kwan?
Babies?
Babies.
Yeah, sorry. Dr. Janice is sick, and so I'm filling in for her. I'm Dr. April Kwan. Yeah, how are the babies doing? And she like pulls up the little iPad that has your chart on it and flips through it. She's like, "You're having quadruplets. How's
Um,
how are you feeling?"
um, you know, a little overwhelmed right now.
I
A little overwhelmed.
that that's understandable. I think.
Jack faints.
You know, it's an overwhelming time for everyone right now.
I need to do. We're gonna do a blood test. For a couple of things. So the phlebotomist will be in to get some blood. And we're gonna do a couple of tests. There is a test here and she looks at Jack and she's like, that I am supposed to talk with just you about by your request. Do you want to change rooms? Do you want to wait till he wakes up?
Is there somewhere to make him more comfortable? while
Yeah,
he
we
is
can
fainted?
put him on the bed, I guess. I can get a couple of nurses' assistants in here and we can do that. And we can take you over here and I can do your blood draw.
Yeah, by my request.
Yeah, that's what, and she shows, there's just
Yeah.
a test that
Okay.
says that it's by your request
Sure.
to not be shared with anyone besides you.
Okay.
So she leads you out to another room and she sits down and she, does a little thing and puts the needle in and draws a couple of vials of blood. And so you asked for a pretty odd test last time we were here, and you gave us a referral to someone at Rising Sun. So we got in touch and they got the stuff and we sent your sample over. And she holds up an envelope and she says, I haven't opened it. It says I can't. It's for you.
Yeah. Thanks. Could I just grab a moment alone, please?
Yeah, sure. And she takes the vials and walks off.
Gonna look at what
Okay.
those results say.
Yep. So the the ordering physician is Dr. Janice Jameson is the name on the ordering physician. The Rising Sun contact is Dr. Elijah Fairchild. And the name on the test is Chastity Domingo. And it looks like a series of genome tests. And the test name is Febris. And at the bottom of all of them, the 3 of the 4 embryos test positive.
Okay.
There is a second page to your test.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not Chastity, please take your headphones off. The paternity test for Jack came back negative. On 3 out of 4 embryos. The fourth embryo, the embryo that failed the Febris test, passed. Came back as positive on paternity for Jack. But the 3 that passed the Febris test are negative paternity match.
Does it say whether a Febris test is positive for super or
It just
negative
says
for super?
Febris test is positive.
So the fourth one failed the Febris test.
And is the one that
And
is Jack's child. The other 3 were positive on the Febris test and do not have any genetic material in common with Jack.
Well, that's some interesting information to learn. Is there anything on the paperwork saying, just how pregnant Chastity is?
Your due date is listed in 4 weeks.
Okay, so question about physiognomy. Doesn't make sense.
Doesn't it? Take a look at yourself in the mirror, Chastity.
Chastity looks itself in mirror.
You're 8 months pregnant.
To the mirror. Chastity says, okay, so nobody thought to tell me this. This is important information I could have done with a while ago. Oh my.
You also suddenly feel super tired and worn out, and you're craving pickled flavored popsicles.
Where do I even find those?
Oh, lots of places. It's a very common thing in the US.
Oh, really? I was thinking I'd have to buy pickles and just use the juice.
I mean, you can. That's how you can make them at home. You just buy pickles, take out the cucumbers, eat those.
Or eat them. Eat them along with
Actually,
the
the real way you do it is you put the pickle in the popsicle mold and you pour the juice over the top, and then when you're eating, there's a frozen pickle in the middle.
I'm not pregnant, but that sounds kind of disgusting.
It's really good.
Oh.
It's really good. It's it's so strangely refreshing when it's 105 degrees outside. And you're just and then you eat one, you're like, oh man, that's delicious. So anyway, any other questions you want to ask?
Dr. Kwan, any physical resemblance to Quantum? Beyond being,
Nope.
I mean, obviously not.
She's just a
female,
pretty
but...
blonde Asian girl.
Okay.
She's an Asian girl. She's got the bleached blonde hair and the...
Okay. There is nothing else in that letter.
Nope.
It came from, I think, I'm going to try to call using the phone in my head.
The phone in your head only dials to your Just card.
Okay. It's a bat symbol, but in my head. I don't like it. Okay.
Sorry? Blame Margaret.
I do.
Okay.
Okay. Gonna head back to Jack.
Okay. So Chastity opens the door, and they're delicious, Frito. How dare you? You walk into the exam room, and Jack is kind of coming to on the bed, having fainted.
What
Hey,
happened?
honey, how are you? You fainted.
Yeah, your
Did
head
the
hurt. You got like a
doctor-
bruise on your head.
Did the doctor say something about 4?
Mm-hmm. Can we go buy some pickles?
Pickles?
Give me a
Yeah.
notice roll, Jack.
Okay. Seven.
So Chastity comes back in the room, and you kind of are coming to, and you like kind of blink, and you become very cognizant of the fact, and it's something you just must have overlooked every time you've looked at Chastity up until this point. But she's very, very pregnant.
I have never wanted you to fail a roll so hard in my life. It would have been hilarious. I just want you to know that.
That. Wow. You look great, dear.
Thanks. My ankles are swollen. I'm hungry, and
Do
I
you need a
could
foot
really do with.
massage?
Yes.
Let's go get you pickles, and I'll give you a foot massage.
Oh my. Thank you. Yes, that is what I need.
Yeah, you're absolutely glowing.
I feel like an elephant.
Yeah, that's because she's sweating. Like, all the people who are like, you're absolutely glowing, it's because I've never met a pregnant woman who's not just constantly just sweating all the time. That's at least what Alicia would always say to me when I would try to be like, oh, you're glowing because you're pregnant. She's like, I'm sweating. Don't talk to me.
Oh,
Alicia,
did I miss anything else about the exam? I mean, I feel bad for not being there for you.
No, everything else is normal. It's fine.
Oh, the babies are good then?
Yeah,
Oh,
as far as I can tell.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah. Yeah. Soon. Do
Soon? Soon. How soon?
Soon. Next 4 weeks or so.
Wow.
What a day.
You can say that again.
What a day.
Mm-hmm.
Can we go home?
Yep.
Okay.
On the way home, I stop by Costco and get a huge jar of pickles.
okay. You go and get a huge thing of pickles.
And Chastity picks up just popsicle sticks.
Yep. Okay. You guys are headed home. Meanwhile, back at the tower, I totally have this picture in my head of this like little magpie symbol that like flips around, very much like the Transformers cartoon where it goes do 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 do, and now we're back to magpie, and it just shifts back and forth between whoever is the lead of the scene. So we're gonna go from the duality yin yang mask to the magpie thing. And we find Magpie in her apartment. And Kyle kind of comes walking over. You guys have sent Gabby to like have a lie down due to the whole, being super drunk and hungover thing. And he comes walking over. So, what are we going to do about that?
About
The drinking and the outbursts.
I'm not 100% positive, but I think they might be two separate issues, actually. The drinking has definitely got to stop,
Yeah, she doesn't handle it well.
although I can understand why she's so upset. But I don't know. I guess we have to assign someone to keep an eye on her and not let her go to bars anymore.
I mean, based on what I've been reading, she's banned from like 3/4 of them in the city. So,
Apparently that didn't work very well, though. She still found one to get a drink in.
yeah.
But as for the other stuff, I think there was some truth in that.
And what? All that blue butterfly nonsense?
The others have seen them too, and they weren't drunk.
So I'm going to try and put this super delicately. So remember why it is that I'm staying kind of a little bit more sane than the rest of you, and why you're kind of staying a little bit more sane than the rest of them right now?
No, actually, Kyle, I don't know why. Why can you remember Julie? Where were
Because
you?
I haven't been running around trying to fix things. I'm not there when things fracture. I'm far away from the impact zone. So when all of the waves hit me, I'm far away. And based on what you were saying before I got here, you weren't even present for the last one, right?
Yes, I wasn't, but I was for all the others.
Right. But that's why I can remember everything.
But why-
I'm with it all.
But why weren't you with the others? Why aren't you with us every time we change?
I'm pulled back in time every time.
But you aren't. Why are
Because
we all
I have to come
together?
and find you because I'm not part of this group. When you guys started messing with all of this, when you guys broke whatever you broke, you were all together. I don't know
No.
why I got pulled back in the first place. But
We
I've been
weren't
pulled
all
back
together.
every time before. What are you talking about?
They went to go see the spike or some. I've never been to see the spike. I've never seen this quantum in person. I wasn't with them when that all started. Just like you weren't. But every time we hop, I'm with them and you aren't.
I mean, maybe it's because you're friends?
Then why are you hopping with us? You certainly weren't our friend in the beginning.
I don't know. But every time we hop, I hunker down and I work. I accept that that's how life's going to be. But you guys run around and try and change it. You guys run around and try and fix it or break it or something.
Yeah, well, some of those realities weren't ones I wanted to stay in.
You know when you are cooking something on a stove and the butter starts to pop and it gets all over you if you're too close to the pan?
I eat out.
Okay, so that analogy will fall super flat.
I can imagine. I have an imagination. Keep going.
I'm putting the stuff on the stove or seeing the stuff on the stove, I guess, and walking away. none of the butter that's popping gets on me. You guys are clustered over that pan like it's life or death. And so the changes and the impacts and the weirdness are all over you.
The weirdness is all over us. Okay. That makes as much sense as any other explanation at this point.
I don't know what else to tell you, but, and he kind of like snaps his fingers and your TV pops up and you see this like series of ripples kind of moving out. And he's like, you all seem to think that there's a blue butterfly involved. And so when he snaps his fingers again, there's a blue butterfly in the center. And the ripples start to ripple out. He says, you're getting hit by so many of these and deflecting them and blocking them. And he puts like 5 little pictures, ding, 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 in the way. And as the ripples hit, the ripples change directions. He says, I'm only taking the stuff that's indirect, and I'm taking so much less of it than you guys.
I don't know what to say. Sometimes we tried to fix things. Sometimes we didn't. There were realities where I just walked away and
what,
refused.
Do you think that you're a god? Like, what makes you think you can change it?
Well, we obviously did change them. Not saying
But
we
did you change anything for the better?
I didn't say
If
that.
everything
I
I've
said we
researched is to
can.
be believed, we're 2 of the only 6 supers in the world. Is that better?
Maybe. Maybe not. Haven't been here long enough to tell yet.
What do you want, Margaret?
I want to help people. And do you know that there are aliens coming?
What are you talking about?
So you haven't seen or figured that part out yet.
I haven't really done a whole bunch except study the effects on us.
Who do you think Quantum is? Just some weird looking man?
I've never seen him. I don't know. Is he weird looking?
I haven't seen him in person, but I did see him in a vision the last time I was hanging around dead, maybe. He's trying to prepare humanity to stop an alien invasion. I'm not saying he's doing a good job or that I agree with his methods, but they're coming, and there's a lot of them. And I don't think they're just coming to say, howdy, neighbor, how's it going? So whether it's a good thing that there's so many less supers now or not, I don't know. It's probably not a good thing. But it's the way it is now.
So what do we do?
Help people while we try to figure things out? Quantum's still out there. And unless he's changed his mind, he still thinks he needs to try and help us get ready for aliens. So he's not just going to sit back and do nothing. And in the other realities we were in, the ones where there were lots of supers,
Yeah.
we were trying to find cures to make people not supers. So what were the us's before we hopped in here doing in a world where there are just us as supers?
From the looks of it, making a fortune.
Well, yes. I'm sure in any of the worlds I'm good at that. But what else is going on?
Based on all the research I've done for the past 5 years, very little.
We need to figure some things out. There's other players that are always in this game every time we hop. There's other wheels in motion, and usually they crush us before we figure out what they are.
Okay.
So, sorry, I don't have a plan. I'm going to keep making up as I go along.
All right. And at that point, the door opens and Chastity and Jack come in with a large box of popsicle sticks and pickles and popsicle molds. And Gabby
Hi.
comes wandering down the hall, blurry-eyed and hungover.
Hi. I don't think I can fight crime for like a month.
Don't you worry about a thing. We'll take care of you. Right, guys?
That's a really large jar of pickles.
Uh-huh.
So, anything
Just-
you'd like to tell us?
Chastity waddles to the kitchen.
And how on
Starts-
earth did I miss that the last time you guys were? Wow.
You know, I'm starting to come to terms with the idea that just let stuff happen. You know, just let it happen. Because it's going to happen anyway. Apparently. 4 times.
Wait, what? What?
You might want to sit down. 4 babies.
We're gonna have to order more quiche for your baby shower if you're eating for 4.
For 5. You count her.
Audrey
Yeah.
and Chastity.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thanks. Chastity starts filling the popsicle molds with pickle juice.
No, so you got to put the pickle in first, and then you pour the pickle juice around the pickle and then freeze it.
Put the pickle in the pickle. Put the pickle in the mold.
With the stick in the middle of the pickle.
With the stick in the middle of the... Oh.
Yeah, so you put it in, then
Yep.
you stick the
You put-
stick in the
stick the-
pickle, and then you pour
yeah.
around, and then you freeze it.
Yep. Doing
Hey.
that.
Guys, what are you making there?
Oh.
Popsicles.
Turns around eating a pickle.
You know what?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, whatever works.
Yep. Hungry for this right now.
They're delicious, and you should all try them. Don't listen to Frito in chat.
Finishes filling up the molds, puts them in the freezer. I need to lie down.
Wait, so you both are happy about this? This is a good thing?
I mean, it seems to be at the moment. I mean, you know, one was great. 1 was great. 4. I'm gonna need some time to adjust.
Oh, okay. It's just that that Gabby saw a butterfly, a blue butterfly. She doesn't remember. I don't know why she doesn't remember. She had a whole conversation with me about seeing it, and then she went kind of blank, and now she doesn't remember. But
Haven't in the
But-
past butterflies appeared before reality changed?
Yeah.
Great.
Great.
Mm.
I mean, I don't remember it, but if that's the case, great.
But if you don't remember it, is it gonna happen?
Do we
Maybe
notice
it
at all,
won't
Gabby?
happen.
Five.
Okay. There are 4 small blue butterflies just kind of perched at random positions on Audrey's massive quadruplet bearing belly for just a moment.
Oh, I point at Audrey. 4 of them, 4 blue butterflies.
Mm.
Okay,
I'm sorry, what?
on your baby bump.
You can't point to a baby bump and say there are 4 butterflies.
But there are 4 blue butterflies, or there
You
were.
can't do that. Are you saying that these are gonna change reality?
It's okay, dear. Let's go to the couch and set you down.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
And Gabby, you kind of back out of the room kind of sadly. You're feeling a little bit doubted. You're feeling a little bit confused, feeling a little bit frustrated. And the other 3 of you, if you will take your headphones off for me.
I don't want to go back in the box. I don't want to be alone.
So, Gabby, as you walk down the hallway and you open up your room, you've done a little bit of straightening up. You've kind of moved some stuff around. But as you open up your room, it's really bright in here for a second. And as you kind of glance around, you see sterile white walls. And you hear footsteps. And you hear, like, beeping noises. And as you kind of shake your head again, you're looking at your room. And you kind of glance around, sort of confused. And as you kind of stumble over toward your bed and collapse down on your bed, you feel this strange, like, fluttering feeling around your face. And you bolt upright, very startled, and just your entire pillow kind of just erupts in a fountain of blue butterflies that just whip all over your face. And I'm going to pull your friends back in as you will, if you'll just lead in with essentially that Gabby screams. Don't actually scream because that will hurt my ears and I won't like that. Neither will our listeners.
So you all hear me scream from my bedroom.
Margaret's gonna run to your bedroom.
Is Chastity already sitting?
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna take some time to get back up again.
Stay, dear. Rest. We'll see what's going on.
Okay.
I get up and go.
Okay. Yep. So you head in, and Gabby is laying on her bed, and she's just flailing her arms all over the place, like swatting at air, and screaming. And more frighteningly, her hands are starting to kind of glow with that black and silver fire.
Oh, Gabby, calm down. What's wrong? We're here. It's okay. What's wrong?
They're everywhere. There are blue butterflies everywhere.
Calm down.
Okay. Breathe.
And you, like, Gabby, you can't, like, as you're like taking breaths, you're feeling butterflies like go into your mouth, and you're like having to cover up your face, and there are just butterflies everywhere. And you're hearing the voices that you recognize, but the two people who have entered the room are not your friends in your eyes. They are two just really big, walking, talking blue butterflies.
So she screams at you two, get out. Get out. Please, so I don't hurt you, get out.
Okay. We'll go. Just try to stay calm. Don't burn down your bedroom again. And Margaret backs out the door.
And as you guys back out the door and Gabby is flailing, you suddenly see Gabby kind of stiffen. And Gabby, your head kind of arches back, and Gabby's eyes roll back in her head, and she just flops down on her pillow.
I rush back in.
Okay. She is has no pulse.
Audrey, we might need you.
Pick her up and take her out to the living room.
What's
Yep.
going on?
I'll pick Gabby up and take her out.
Okay. So you pick up the limp form of Gabby, and like as you pick her up, it's just dead weight all over your arms. And you start making your way back into the living room. And Chastity's trying to like pull herself up out of the couch that is way deeper and cushionier than she'd expected it to be. And you see your fiance carrying a completely just limp Gabby.
What happened? Healing hand? Trying?
Okay. Jack and Margaret, roll a d6 for me.
2.
Is it ace?
Nope.
Okay, 6.
Okay. Jack, as Chastity reaches out and puts her hands on Gabby, Margaret, you watch as just that kind of light, white-laced gold energy kind of pulses out over Gabby's body from that hand. Jack, as your fiance sets her hand on Gabby, just blue butterflies are just pouring out and just crawling all up over Gabby.
Whoa.
Does it work? Is it working?
I see butterflies.
Wait,
Okay,
where?
that's not funny.
Where?
They're coming out of Gabby?
No, they're coming out of Audrey.
Oh, Audrey. They're
Yeah,
coming out of Audrey.
Chastity's hand and over. And they're just like swarming over Gabby.
No, there's not. There's just a white light.
Great.
It's not working. It's not. Gabby, come on. Come on, wake up now.
What are you guys doing?
Kyle, what do you see? Coming from
I see
Audrey.
the three of you gathered around a couch, and I see a very pregnant woman leaned at a really weird angle. What are you guys doing?
You don't see Gabby?
Who's Gabby?
You don't Do you remember Julie?
Yeah.
But you don't remember Gabby.
Who's Gabby?
Jack, do you still remember Gabby, right?
Nope.
What am I holding?
Nothing.
What's going on?
And Audrey, you don't remember Gabby either. You're just like leaned over, like pressing your healing hand into the leather of the couch, just pouring healing energy into the couch. Like, be a cow
Careful,
again.
It's real. If it's a cow again.
Does Margaret still see Gabby, or has she disappeared?
She's gone. You remember, and you know she should be there, but
Still heavily pregnant?
Mhm.
Oh boy.
Guys, we lost another person.
What are you talking about?
Another? What do you mean?
We lost Julie, which
Who?
Kyle still remembers Julie. She used to be in our group. And
Like
we
you
just...
and Kyle's group?
No, she was one of our friends. She made cinnamon rolls at the daily grind. They were good. Anyway, and we just lost Gabby, and now none of you remember her. I want you to take note that I have not been drinking. Just trust me. I have never seen the blue butterflies, but I trust you guys when you say you've seen them. So, we had a friend named Gabby, and now she's gone.
Where did you see blue butterflies?
I didn't. I've never seen them. Jack's seen them, though. Gabby saw them. She was freaking out that they were all over her. And then she just arched her back, and then she had no pulse. And we brought her in here to try and have you heal her. But it wasn't working.
Mags, you okay?
I don't know, but I'm pretty sure. We had someone named Gabby, and now she's gone. But it didn't happen the same way as it did with Julie. Unless there's a marble on the floor. But there's no necklace here. There isn't a marble on the floor, is there?
What are you talking about?
I mean, there's nobody here except Joey and Rain and me. And you.
Wait, what?
Who?
Joey. And he points at Jack. And Rain. And me. And you.
Their names are Joey and Rain?
Yeah.
No, they're not.
What are you talking about?
What do we remember our names as?
Joey and Rain.
Rain, do you know what's going on?
Not at all.
I know that your name's, and I know something is messing with your heads.
Or something is messing with yours.
Yeah, because we clearly remember that's what's really going on. You are the one that seems to be.
Give me a spirit roll, Magpie.
Five.
Non-Magpieans, please remove your headphones. So as you're looking at them and you're having this kind of emotional moment and you're feeling yourself getting like sort of frustrated, you blink for a second, and just for a second as your eyes flash open, you're standing in like your, big open concept living room, kitchenette, dining space. But as you blink, the nice, wood molding and the well painted walls and all the furniture vanishes, and you're in this really austere, bright, brilliant, sanitized white kind of space for a second. And you blink and then you shake your head and you're back and you're just staring at a person that is familiar, but you can't put your face on it, and you're sitting, you're no longer standing, and there's soft kind of violin music in the background, and there is candlelight and the soft smell of roses. Maggie, are you all right?
How did I get here?
Darling, are you okay?
I'm not sure. I thought I was in my apartment.
Your apartment? Darling, we're in Paris. Been in Paris for 2 weeks.
For 2 weeks?
Yes.
But I could swear I was just standing in my apartment.
No, dear.
Why do you keep calling me darling?
What would you prefer I call my bride?
So during those 2 weeks, we got married?
The past 2 weeks have been our honeymoon.
Mm-hmm.
Are you all right?
I'm not sure. I think I missed it all. It's kind of a bummer. I keep missing interesting things like that.
Well, and he holds up the menu and he's like, the waiter will be back soon. Would you care to take a glance at least?
Do they have anything with chocolate?
I'm sure. And he holds the menu out to you.
She takes the menu and like sticks it up in front of her face and is
Okay.
desperately scanning for chocolate.
All right. So the first thing you notice is that the name of the restaurant is Le Papillon Bleu. And yeah, there's plenty of dessert courses.
And she's gonna order one of those.
Okay. So the waiter approaches. Yes, Mr. and Mrs. Von Moon, may I take your order, please? And he proceeds to order, and then you turn and just order like the biggest chocolate thing. He's like, that is a dessert course, madame. Is that very well? And walks away, and Von Moon looks at you. Skipping straight to dessert, then, dear, is everything all right?
Well, not exactly, but sure. chocolate will help make it a little better.
Very, very well. To us, dear. And he lifts up his wine glass. And across the glass is this kind of etched blue butterfly motif in the glass.
So, why do we decide to come to the blue butterfly?
Ah, yes, that is Le Papillon Bleu. Yes, that's very clever. I hadn't thought about that, but that makes the decor makes so much more sense. I mean, you selected it, dear. You read something on one of those websites.
Oh, that's nice.
Darling, is everything okay?
Um,
Should we go? Or do you need
after
to use the
after the
restroom?
chocolate. No, I want to eat the chocolate first. I have a feeling I'm gonna need it.
Very well, dear. The evening progresses, and eventually your chocolate dish is brought. It is a delicious and luxurious chocolate cake made with gotta quit looking at chat. It's a moist and decadent kind of devil's food chocolate cake in the shape of a butterfly, has chocolate ganache, and it's crusted with a chocolate shell, and there are 2 large scoops of chocolate ice cream. That looks rather decadent, dear. You sure you're going to be all right?
Yep. All these different places I've hopped to, and before this, all I got was some chocolate syrup. So, yep. I deserve this. Yep.
Okay, and as you poke your spoon into the cake, the shell cracks and blue butterflies stream up out and swarm up over Margaret. And as Margaret screams, I will have you pull your headphones off, and I will pull the other 2 in. Sorry, not you, Katie. You're still not here. Katie. All right. So, Joey and Rain, you guys are standing there and you're listening to someone argue for a moment. And like you're hearing Margaret is like talking to you. And then you kind of turn to give each other this very like, there she goes again, kind of knowing look. And then you blink for a second and you're sitting in the back of an ambulance on your way to the hospital. Audrey, Rain, you're in an incredible amount of pain. And Joey, you're sitting there. Come on, breathe. All right, here we go. Breathe in 1 and 2, and talking.
Remember, like we learned in the Lamaze class. And just let it go.
It's harder to do when you're in pain.
I'll take your word for it.
I'm not doubting you. I'm here to validate you, and
Mm-hmm. I am here for you.
But as that continues, you guys have no memory of Margaret or Gabby or Kyle or Julie or Denver. The only thing in your mind is this moment. And as you make your way to the hospital, you're admitted very quickly and taken up and gotten all ready and given whatever pain relief plan is plot appropriate for you. And as you are progressing through labor, the doctor turns and looks at Joey. He's like, excuse me, may I speak to you for a moment? Over here.
Yes.
And so we're going to do a quick swap here, Shawnee. So if you'll pull off, I'll do this, and that'll bring you back in. So Jeff, he pulls Joey outside. And he looks at you. Mr. Conroy, I'm sorry, sir, but we're going to have to... She needs to go into emergency surgery. She's not progressing the way we need her to. And unfortunately, due to the nature and the compromised nature of the babies, you won't be able to come in.
But why? I need to be there for her.
I understand, sir, but unfortunately, just the surgery with 4 babies and everything that has gone wrong with your wife health-wise up to this point, and for the babies, it just isn't feasible. We'll need you to wait with your parents and your mother and father-in-law and your other daughter in the waiting room.
Okay. Take care of her.
We will.
Take care of them all.
We will, sir. And he kind of nods. And Jack, Joey, as you walk down the hall, you glance over at a window, and you're passing the nursery on your way out, and you see all of the little babies there in their little plastic plexiglass, rollaway cribs. And as you look, you see something really odd, which is this nursery appears to be all boys, because every name tag that's on these plexiglass are blue and cut out in the shape of butterflies. And as that strikes you, you kind of hear shouting in the back of your mind. And then I'm going to swap you and Shawnee. So Rain, as Joey is taken outside with the doctor, the doctor is gone for a couple minutes, then comes back in, and Joey's not with him. Miss Conroy, we need to take you to emergency surgery. Unfortunately, you're not progressing, and that the babies are in danger. And due to the complications you've already had with this pregnancy, we need to get you there quickly.
They be okay?
We need to be fast. I don't know.
Okay.
And they start to move you, and you're progressed over, and you get the anesthesiologist who's there and talks you through, we're going to count you back from 5 and all of that. And as he's prepping, give me a notice roll.
$14. Oh,
Okay.
yes, 14.
Okay. You're in a surgical room, right? You're staring up at that great big light. Everything around you is that austere white and stainless steel and all of those things. There are a lot of people in this room. And you expect there to be several, right? Surgery tends to have 6 to 8 people generally. It's largely a circus. But as you look up, you're really confused because you're in a gallery surgical center, which you don't feel like you should be for this kind of operation. But more confusing are those seats are all full. There are easily 40, 50 people here watching this surgery. And as you glance up, your head gets really confused because you see faces. And they're faces that you recognize, but they're not faces you recognize as Rain. They're not faces you recognize as Chastity. They're faces you very assuredly recognize as Audrey. And you recognize the face of Von Moon. And you recognize the face of Paul. And you recognize the face of the old woman who was Julie's roommate. And you recognize the face of the woman from the bar. And you recognize the face of the bouncer from the bar. And you recognize the face of James Conroy from the newspaper article for his obituary. And you see that there is a woman sitting there and has her arm around a child. And you recognize them as Chastity and Rain Domingo. And you recognize Kyle. And you see sick Kyle, but you see healthy Kyle. And as you're sitting there and you're blinking, you suddenly hear something. And I'm going to pull everybody back in because regardless of where you all are, you all hear this. So, Gabby, you are blinking and you hear, Miss Sharp, are you all right? And you look out and you're standing at a whiteboard in front of a classroom of teenagers. And one of them has his hands up and he's like, can I ask my question now? Magpie, you're seated at a comfy cottage table across from your granny, across from your aunt, across from a couple of women you recognize from family pictures but you've never met before. And you're all drinking delicious homemade hot cocoa, the kind where you melt down the big rich chocolate bar and actually mix it with the cream and the milk, and it's really, really tasty. And your granny comes walking over and she's like, scones fresh out of the oven, and sets them down in front of you. Jack, you're sitting at the precinct desk, going through a bunch of files. And Audrey, you are laying on that table in that surgical gallery. And then all of you hear in the distance the sound of gunfire. Rapid fire, automatic gunfire. You hear shouts. You hear booted feet. You hear a klaxon alarm going off, which sounds really weird in the school or the precinct, but especially really weird in your grandmother's farmhouse. And as that klaxon alarm goes off, you hear strange clicking noises around you. And we'll see y'all in 5 minutes when we come back from break. So, chat, we'll be back in 5 minutes after we take a quick break. Stay with us and we'll find out what's going on. We're back. Sorry, I got concerned about my green screen. But my other Coke was behind it, so I had to move it, and I forgot to move it back. Thanks for hanging out with us while we took our quick break. Before break, you guys all were in various places and started hearing the tat-tat-tat of automatic gunfire. Audrey, you are very much still starting to feel heavily sedated. But around the room, up in the gallery, you see all of those faces start to move. But then as you glance around the operating space, one of the doctors kind of looks over and like makes a couple of gestures, and a few of the people move out of the room, so that you are left with one doctor kind of standing there looking at you.
Never been heavily pregnant with quadruplets. Is it possible to move? Is it possible to try and get up?
I mean, being heavily sedated and being heavily anesthetized, not
probably not.
Tons?
Not really. No.
Oh. You can definitely talk.
Then I will. What are you doing?
Project Febris is nearing its completion, Audrey.
No.
Yes. That's what it's all been for.
No. Are you going to take them?
Yes.
She's going to reach up with hurting
He's not
hand.
even remotely within range of your grasp.
She's going to try.
Okay, so
Fail.
reaching out, and he kind of looks at you. And he reaches up and takes off the mask, and it's quantum. And he steps toward you and holds out his hand. If that's what you want, go ahead.
She does.
Okay. You reach out and you notice that your hand is perfectly normal, kind of caramel mocha skinned color, like it should be. And you place your hand on his arm and nothing happens.
Why am I so many people?
Oh, why was the audience here? Because there's a great deal of people invested in this project, dear.
You're invested in it?
I am the architect of it, so I'm certainly invested, but...
And you've been sending us back.
Something like that.
Why?
We need to test you.
No, I don't buy that.
You don't have to buy anything. It's one of the benefits of unwilling subjects. I don't particularly care what they believe or what they care about. All I care about is the results of my trial.
You can't have them.
I don't really live in a world where I feel like you can stop me, dear.
Are you going to keep sending us back?
You've never left. And he points up. And the other three of you are kind of coming to at this point, and you're looking around and you still hear that gunfire, you still hear boots moving around, but you see Quantum standing there and talking. And you see that the four of you are on operating tables in a gallery operating space. There are tubes through your body and monitors kind of taped everywhere. But most importantly, there's a single kind of clear, almost diamond wire that comes directly out of the center of your chest and moves up to a sphere in the ceiling. And in that sphere is Denver. And Denver's eyes are closed and flickering very quickly. I haven't sent you anywhere. We've simply simulated a series of events to test how you would respond.
So, none of this happened.
No.
Okay. And my original life?
It depends on how far back you want to go.
The symphony happened.
No. The symphony was part of our simulation.
Whose simulation?
Mine and my siblings.
I'm going to try to reach for any of the powers that Audrey has had at any point in this game.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, force control, tries to explode.
Mm-hmm.
Tries to flap wings. None of it's working.
Nope. You are pushing against a very distinct barrier that's probably related to the fact that Denver, whose core power was nullify, is in a large globe above your head. We took very specific precautions, Miss Fairchild, to ensure that we stayed safe. Unfortunately, we won't quite be able to get through the last of the trials because there's been a slight amount of interference from an outside entity. And he glances and sort of glares at Gabby. But we have enough.
What are you going to do with it?
With the information,
Yeah.
whatever I want.
That's a stupid answer.
No, monologuing like an idiot is stupid. Standing in front of you and telling you in my entire plan so that when inevitably you break free like this was a comic book, that's stupid. But looking at you and telling you I've won, I mean, that's just congratulating myself. And he turns, and there's a heartbeat monitor that's blipping above your head. And on that heartbeat monitor, there are 5 heartbeats. And he looks, and one of them doesn't flatline. It's just gone.
Where'd it go?
It's where it needs to be.
What does that mean?
We just had this conversation, Miss Fairchild.
What does it mean? Where did it? Where did?
And you watch as the second one vanishes off the monitor.
What do you plan to do with us after?
Well, I had planned to.
Because I'm telling you now that if you don't kill me, I am going to kill you.
Yeah, you'll hunt me down and you'll find me. I know. I've been inside your head for the past 18 years. I know exactly what you'll do. But look in my eyes, Miss Fairchild, and ask me if I'm afraid. And he glances up and the third disappears. He says, but you'll be a little bit busy because I only need those 3. The fourth one failed the test. And he turns and he kind of flickers and is gone. And Audrey, at that moment, you are racked with extreme pain as you go very heavily into labor.
Can we pull the tubes out?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I'm pulling all the tubes out.
Me too.
All right. It is incredibly painful. You essentially pass out a handful of times, which is really the only reason why you hadn't managed to do it up until this point, is because you start and then you'll pass out and then you go back and you pass out. But eventually you pull them out, and the only thing that is left is that silver wire, which there's this distinct part of you that's very afraid to pull out since it runs directly into, your heart as a thing.
Yeah, I'm going to pull it out.
Okay. Roll a vigor roll. Don't fail.
Does Margaret still have her necklace?
Your necklace is on a table inside of a box.
9.
Okay. Take 3 wounds.
I'm going to absorb those.
No, you're not. You take 3 wounds. This isn't,
No,
you
not.
didn't take damage. You just have 3 wounds. You just yanked
have 3 wounds.
something out of your heart. Yeah. You're
Okay.
also unconscious.
After watching that, Margaret is not going to pull hers out, but she will try to leave it in and still reach somewhere and start looking in boxes and.
Yeah, there's a locked box on the bedside table that has your necklace in it. The screaming from Audrey continues as she continues to undergo natural childbirth.
Can Margaret get over to Audrey?
Yeah.
Oh, so the cords will reach.
The cords will get there. Yeah.
Okay. Gabby heads over to her
Okay.
too.
All right. You are all standing there with Audrey. Give me a notice roll, both of you.
Four.
I'm going to spend a penny.
Okay.
I'm very distracted. I got a 3.
Okay. Neither of you succeed. You are all standing there looking at Audrey, who's screaming in pain.
Breathe. I took some EMT classes in college. So breathe, and screaming isn't going to do you any good. You have to calm down and pay attention to your body. And I don't know, I'm not a midwife. When Jack's unconscious. Not helping. We need something to catch it with.
I can help.
Jack's supposed to catch it.
This woman
Gabby's
has-
gonna
this
head
woman
on
has
down
foreshadowing, ladies
to-
and gentlemen.
We need
Be
like
ready to catch.
a shirt or something.
I don't know. Are there any like medical cloths or anything around the room?
Nope.
Pull off Jack's shirt. That'll work. Wait, does he still have that?
As you go over
Wacky.
to pull off Jack's polyester coat, not polyester, it's just a suit coat, Jack is bleeding out.
Okay. Gabby, you stay over here with Audrey and be ready to catch. I'm going to bandage Jack up with whatever his shirt, like whatever I can find. It's totally cool over here. Don't worry about it. Just be ready to catch.
Do I notice Jack at this point?
Yeah, so you look over and Jack is definitely bleeding out.
What is happening?
I mean, he yanked a massive spike
I
out of
just
his
mean in-
heart and is just
I
going
know.
bloop, bloop.
I know.
bloop,
But
bloop.
I mean, that's Gabby's reaction in general. She just wakes up in this room. Someone's in labor. Someone's bleeding out.
Well, in Jack's defense, he has had regeneration for at least 15, 18 years now. So he's not afraid of wounds.
Until now.
Mentally. It was just like, ow.
I like to think there was this moment where he's like, major mistake. Just like, okay, give me a healing roll, Gabby. Sorry, not Gabby, Magpie. You're not able to heal wounds here. You are able to keep him from dying, just to be super clear.
So does a 4 do that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, or you make it so he doesn't outright die.
Okay, I got a 4.
All right. Jack, you do not outright die.
Those
I'm
EMT
so happy.
classes came in handy.
Your enthusiasm is overwhelming.
Do we still hear gunfire?
Oh, yeah.
The sounds of boots. Okay, Gabby is going to start yelling for help.
Okay. Yep. You hear gunfire. You hear these strange kind of like high-pitched whistling sounds. You hear lots of clanking feet. You hear the door that you're in slam open. The door to the room that you're in slams open. And then you hear this clink, 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 and this hissing noise. And just smoke starts to fill the room. And
Come on.
What? You're having a baby right now.
I'm busy screaming.
Smoke fills the room, and you all start to kind of cough and hack. And as you all kind of pitch forward, Gabby, you look up, and through just the haze before you black out, you are pretty sure you see Paul's face. You all wake up. You're all laying in hospital beds in kind of a long one of those shared hospital rooms. There's like the curtain in between all of you. And you all have been laying there for who knows how long. And as you glance around, you just see each other.
Wake up, grab stomach.
Okay. Your stomach is
Pick up
there.
chest.
Like, Might be a little bit chubbier than you want. I don't know. It's up to you.
Baby is more what I was aiming for.
I mean, you were in labor when you blacked out.
Is there a baby nearby? Screaming.
You're screaming. Okay.
Oh, yes. Screaming murder. Screaming bloody murder.
You're
Gonna bring
screaming.
someone in here.
Okay. The three of
Margaret.
you wake up to Audrey screaming.
Is there anything keeping us in the beds?
Nope.
Okay, Gabby like dives out of the bed towards Audrey.
Okay. Jack, you have like a big old like bandage across your chest and you're incredibly sore, but
Margaret wants to check and see if her necklace is back on her neck. No. Now
Nope.
she's going to frantically be looking for a box.
there's
'Cause
nothing
that's the
there.
last thing she remembers.
Nothing there.
She's going to jump out of the bed
Margaret
and go to
is
the door.
also now screaming.
Yeah, she's like, gosh dang it, I couldn't eat the stupid cake and the butterflies attacked me the first time I ever see them. And now my necklace is gone. I'm going to rip that stupid Quantum's head off his body. And she's going to find the nearest door.
There is no door in this room.
And now there's no freaking door. She's going to start banging on the walls.
See, just Audrey's just, and you just Margaret, just railing on the door. Jack,
She's
you're
like, I want
Ow.
chocolate now.
it's like this little like, you hear this like kind of sound, and like a chocolate bar like pops out and drops on the floor in front of Margaret.
She's going to pick it up, look at it, open it, start eating it.
Yeah, it's like high-end Belgian chocolate.
All right, I'll calm down. But if my necklace doesn't come out a slot in the wall, I'm still going to murder some people with my bare hands. She takes another bite.
Okay.
Audrey is screaming, where are my children? That is actually what's being screamed.
Mhm.
Just repeatedly.
I'm looking for a nurse call button.
There is
I
no
need a new
nurse call
room.
button.
I need a new room.
I need a new room. This one is not restful. I have a hole in my chest. I feel like I should be getting more rest than I'm getting. I would like to complain to hospital administration.
Mm-hmm.
Nope. Yeah. So Audrey eventually screams until she has no voice left. Margaret, you have successfully eaten your chocolate bar. Gabby and Jack, what are you doing while Audrey screams herself hoarse and Magpie eats?
I
Yeah,
put my
it's
head
just-
under the pillow and trying to block the noise.
Oh, there's no pillow on your bed.
Oh.
What? What kind of
There's
hospital is this?
Probably the kind that's preventing you from committing suicide because there's no pillow and no blankets on your bed.
After trying to probably unsuccessfully trying to comfort Audrey, I'm gonna step away from the rest and just kind of turn my back and try to like make nothing.
Nothing.
What's the last thing I remember from before the surgical room?
Butterflies coming out from underneath your pillow.
Do I
And
remember the whole, like, aside from the stuff I forgot in tonight's game, do I remember?
You remember all of your weird jumps through time.
Okay.
And then the last thing you remember is essentially being strangled by butterflies. Which is not a memory anybody actually wants, let's be fair.
No.
No one wants to remember being strangled by butterflies.
But I remember seeing Paul's face just before I
Yep.
passed out.
Yeah, you are pretty sure you saw Paul's face through the smoke.
I stand up and start yelling to the room in general. Paul.
You're just shouting. You guys are really bad at this, like shouting anything that might accomplish something.
Well, there's no door.
Right. It's just
So
funny
we
because
know.
Audrey's picked 3 words. Margaret has picked to just inanely yell about chocolate and a necklace. And you're just like, Paul!
Well,
Meanwhile,
now
Jack's just over there going,
Margaret's gonna bang on the wall again. She's like, okay, I feel calmer now. Thank you for the chocolate. I would like to use the restroom.
In the corner, like this tile goes ka-chink, and this little stall pops up in the corner.
That's not what I had in mind.
You get no response.
Can we talk to anyone? Is anyone listening? Well, obviously someone's listening. Giving Margaret everything she wants except a way out and her necklace.
And I'm telling you, you should take advantage of this moment while I am calm to come talk to us. I promise not to murder you if you come talk to us now while the chocolate is still in effect.
I don't.
You get
Audrey,
nothing.
if I could get up, I would be there by your side. I would.
Are there beds on wheels?
No.
Like the hot trad. I was gonna push them
Also
together.
a suicide risk.
I'm gonna just go sit down back next to Audrey.
Okay.
What is going on?
I don't think anyone here in this room knows.
Did they hear that entire conversation with Quantum?
Whether they remember or not.
I was pulling stuff out of my chest, so.
Jack
Right, I
definitely
see.
remembers nothing. He was bleeding out and also almost dead.
Right, okay. I relay that information rather than going over all of it because I think you heard it vaguely.
I mean, I feel it was still confusing because we were suddenly in a room with Quantum
Oh,
and
we never went back. We
We
were a
were in the
simulation.
Matrix?
He was messing with our heads.
I check my head. I still have hair, so it's not exactly
No, you
like the
don't.
Matrix. Why not?
None of you have hair.
oh my gosh.
What?
Quantum is gonna die. I hope that's what you wanted.
At this point, do I remember the stuff that I forgot, or is it still just gone?
You
Okay.
Don't remember.
Okay.
Okay, so it was the Matrix.
You don't have like a
How-
socket in the back of your head or in your arms.
Anymore.
Just a big hole in my chest.
Yeah, but that was self-inflicted.
Like, what about where all the tubes were? We don't have like wounds covered in bad bandages or anything.
It's just like IVs.
Oh, okay.
Like they weren't
Okay.
like, wasn't like somebody stuck a hose
Plugs.
in
Not like
Good.
the Borg Queen.
you. No, yeah, there was no garden hose sticking out of your arms and your legs, just like IVs and wires.
They were all watching us
Who?
to see how we'd react.
To what?
Quantum and his people. The symphony never happened.
So
You
we
mean-
have no powers? We never had powers.
My necklace is gone. I can't test that.
So does that mean I'm still paralyzed from the legs down, from the hips, waist down?
No, sorry, no, you're fine.
None of this happened.
But Project Febris happened.
What is Project Febris?
Yeah.
I don't entirely know. It's either a project to give people superpowers or to take them away. And I had 4 babies. And they took 3. They took the 3 that were positive for Febris. And now they've taken all of them.
Positive for what?
Febris.
Why us?
So
though?
either... I don't know. One of those, the one that wasn't positive. Jack, that one was yours. The other three.
But if we were hooked up in tubes for simulation for the last 18 years, how did you know? I never mind. I don't want to know.
Science.
So wait, one of them was mine? What about the other three?
And from kind of the room, you hear a voice. Gabby, a voice you recognize very well, which is the voice of Paul. There were 4 babies. Not exactly sure what the other 3 were because they were gone by the time we got there. The other one is safe, Miss Fairchild. Unfortunately, being around you for the past 5 weeks hasn't been. And so that's why the baby is not where you are.
What exactly do you mean by that?
You guys aren't confined to your beds. You are, Jack, simply because of your injury. But you acted out frequently. There was a lot of rage and a lot of throwing things. That's why most of the room has been vacated at this point. It was not an environment that was safe for an infant.
How long have we been in this room?
5 weeks.
5
Since we
weeks.
rescued you from the underwater compound.
And you wonder why there was a lot of rage?
Do you remember anything in the past 5 weeks, Miss Murdoch?
What is there to remember in this blank, empty room?
Nothing, but that's my point. You guys, all of you, have spent varying lengths of time under extreme sedation, subjected to some sort of manipulation mentally. From a time period ranging from 18 years ago to about 8 weeks ago. We're still trying to piece together what we can pull from their mainframe before they tried to wipe it when we got there. But we're putting together what we can.
I used to be good at that stuff.
Simulated you was, yeah.
Yeah, I don't even know what's real anymore.
18 years ago? Are you sure about that?
And you hear the voice kind of say, put it on the monitor, and one of the panels on the wall kind of flickers. And there's a kidnapping report. And the kidnapping report is labeled for, pull up my notes here. Boop, boop, boop. Come on, Google. You can do it. 1987. And it is a missing persons report filed by Mr. Elijah Fairchild for his daughter Audrey. Who vanished from their home in the summer of 1987.
Can I have my baby, please?
No. You still have not shown yourself to be safe. We're not keeping her from you for any reason other than to keep her safe.
Have you been calling her something?
You named her Hope.
Right. What do you need me to do?
We don't know. That's the problem. We're still trying to piece together what Febris was. We're still trying to piece together who these people are. You keep raving about someone named Quantum. Miss Murdoch keeps raving about ships. But I don't know exactly what's going on. I only got involved when I reported this to my superiors 8 weeks ago when my wife vanished.
Who's your wife?
Gabby.
Do I remember anything at all?
Nope. Everything you remember is what was put in your head during the simulation. You remember nothing of a life with Paul beyond the fairly unhappy life you were remembering in the past.
So, you're real.
Yeah. We've been married for 3 years. Or, for 3 years. You didn't turn up to our anniversary dinner.
I remembered you the whole time.
It seems to be part of the simulation. They kept things fairly consistent, but also changed things, at least based on what you guys have said during your interviews. Ms. Murdoch, your necklace is in safekeeping. However, based upon your description of what it can do, we have not seen fit to allow you to have it. However, it is in safekeeping and it does belong to you and it will be returned to you.
I don't even believe that. If I've been here for 18 years?
You haven't been. The only person who's been here for 18 years is Miss Fairchild. Gabby's only been here for 8 weeks. You've only been here for 12 months.
What about me?
6 years.
Denver?
The one we're currently referring to as Paradox, we can't find any record of. She exists, and we've kept her away from most of you due to the effect she appears to have. But she's also safe.
I don't understand. Why did they do this?
We don't know. And he kind of is still, like, there's kind of this brief moment, and then that screen flickers again. And you get closed circuit TV footage. And it's a nursery. And you can see that the baby is there and the baby is being taken care of. And you see that there is a box, and it is the very nice mahogany box, Margaret, that you're very familiar with. And there's kind of this moment where one of the nurses looks up and sort of nods, and she's carrying the baby and walks over and lifts the lid to the box, and your necklace is laying right there in the box. Your necklace is safe, Miss Murdoch. We haven't done anything beyond analyze what it's made out of. And we don't know exactly what that is.
Lovely. So now what?
Now we wait for orders from the UN.
I'm going to need some reading material. This is boring.
We'll see what we can do.
Sit back and wait a plot appropriate amount of time.
There will be more interviews while we wait. We're still piecing together information of what you can tell us. But this is the most lucid you've been. Yes, Gabs.
What do you do? What's your work?
My name is Commander Paul Sharp. I work for La Papillon Blue, the blue butterfly.
That is not reassuring at all.
I take it I knew nothing about this.
No.
Paul.
This is the most reassuring thing that I've heard in a long time, actually.
What is the blue butterfly?
We are a United Nations task force comprised of the best from around the world. We are put in place to combat extraterrestrial threats. I thought it was a cushy desk job because I didn't believe in aliens when I took it.
How long ago was that?
I enlisted in the United States Marine Corps when I was 18 years old. Right out of high school. Graduation happened, and 3 days later, I was on a plane to boot camp. I got recruited into La Papillon not substantially later. I was assigned to Somerset City, and I met you. And I jumped through hoop after hoop and went through hell because I'd signed a bunch of paperwork that said that I wouldn't have romantic entanglements because of what I do. But you were worth that. But the one rule was you could never know what I did.
Well, the simulation got some things But you're correct.
Yeah.
Am I actually married to anyone? I mean,
No, Jack.
Is my father alive?
No. I'm not sure why the four of you were chosen. But I'm going to find out. Because if all this is really extraterrestrial, I'm going to be pretty busy.
You might want to start scanning the skies. There may or may not be an invasion on the way.
We'll take a look. Welcome to 2005. And the intercom clicks off.
wait, does that make me a teenager?
Nope. Audrey is definitely about 18. As are you're 18, 19-ish.
Alrighty then.
I don't know. I'll believe it when I see it. I still think we're being messed with.
We are. But it makes sense, right? The blue butterfly trying to get us out of there.
It does.
They flew out of my chocolate cake and attacked me. They couldn't even wait till I got to eat the cake. How do we know this isn't still just all in our heads? Just like all the other stuff.
We don't.
We don't. Mm-mm.
We just assume it's right until it's not.
We're stuck in a room with nothing and no way out.
Hey, does one of these panels get satellite?
And like after a few minutes, like one of the panels like directly in front of your bed flickers and your armrest kind of like slides and there's buttons on the armrest.
Right. Looking for something to watch.
Okay. All right. So you begin to scan through the channels and you pass by NBC is showing The Office and Fox is showing Prison Break and
I think I'll watch The Office.
okay. So you
Who's the is the news?
you can eventually find like CNN or one of those.
Who's the mayor of Somerset?
Doesn't get mentioned. It's not local news. This is like satellite news.
Right. Audrey just kind of pulls those knees up and sits quietly to wait to be deemed sane enough to be given a kid.
All right. What do the rest of you do? Jack, you watch The Office and you watch, you know, you scan through and there's American Idol on at least, a station, and
Mm-hmm.
some Dancing with the Stars, and 2005 was very much the height of our reality television era, if you remember. So
Margaret bangs on the wall again. She's like, hey, you said you'd send some reading material. Also, I would like a quiche.
okay, a Kindle slides down through a slot after a few minutes.
Well, you got one thing right anyway.
Quiche
Work on the quiche.
and like literally you hear over the thing, we have to cook the quiche, Miss Murdoch.
Not like there's a replicator here.
You never know. There might be.
2005.
And doesn't that seem wrong to anybody else? Just a little bit.
Yeah, I have like 15 years of police experience. I'm going to get into police academy real fast.
You weren't a cop.
Close enough.
Okay.
Is it?
A police
Is-
consultant?
Is
Sure.
it? I've watched Castle.
I've been watching Lucifer. That's hilarious.
Also, not the best example.
No, but it's funny.
So, probably a couple hours later, like your quiche does show up within a reasonable time period, as does some coffee and some hot cocoa, and it's all served in like disposable, non-dangerous things. But about an hour later, one of the panels slides open, and Paul is standing there. He's very well built, broad shoulders, has the very military haircut. He's standing there in what is a oddly non-military uniform. He's in like a black leather jacket and just jeans. He has on kind of this dark blue shirt underneath the leather jacket. So who wants to talk to me first?
I will.
Okay. Come with me. And
Okay.
he walks back out through the door and waits, and you come through, and you're just standing on this elevator. And door closes and the elevator goes up.
You're really real?
Yeah. You ask that every day.
And the babies are definitely real. They were. They are.
From what our OB says, there's definitely signs that you had more babies inside of you than hope.
Okay. Can I see her?
She'll be in the observation room when we get there.
Okay.
And
Thank
so
you.
arrive and you are handed hope, and you're kind of given like a 20-minute timer to just like spend time with the baby. And you spend time with Hope for about 20 minutes, and then he lets you know that you do need to come and have the interview portion.
Mm-hmm.
And he brings you back in. So, what do you remember today?
Today? Oh. Oh. Do you mean like when I woke up here?
chances are that you're probably going to repeat some things I already know, but you guys have been remembering more and more every day. So if we have to retread old ground, then we have to retread old ground. That's fine.
But like, do you mean what do I remember
Just in general.
from?
About
Oh,
your experience.
um, I was a librarian,
Okay.
and I met. Does she remember Julie?
Mhm.
I met a lot of people in a cafe, and we ended up going to this bar because there had been a shooting, and I did some things, and it made someone called Kyle, or the Canary, really mad. And so after that, uh, he messed with us a lot. And eventually, we were going to sing at a memorial. And I ended up underground, under the spike. Does the spike exist?
Yeah, we've got a spike in the center of Somerset. Or they do.
You should try to get rid of it.
The city is... It's like the foundation of the city. That seems pretty unlikely.
Try.
It's literally the superstructure center of the city. Every part of the city is built off of it.
Okay. What's the date today?
And he thinks, and he's not thinking, I'm thinking.
Mm-hmm.
August 1st, 2005.
How far away is the symphony from now in Audrey's memory?
You don't know?
I don't think it's happened yet.
You don't think what's happened yet?
The symphony, I think it's going to happen. It hasn't happened yet. You said aliens exist now, right?
I mean, that's...
Like, I don't sound crazy if I
we
say aliens
think
exist.
So.
Yeah. So,
I mean, even me as part of the Papillon haven't seen definitive proof yet.
Quantum is an alien. And I saw him, even if it was a simulation, I saw him under the spike.
Okay.
Really far underground. And down a long hallway. And he did something because he said that we had to go back in time to stop so many people dying so that we could prevent a catastrophe, because aliens are coming. And we need as many people alive to fight them as possible.
Okay.
And then we we went back in time a lot. A lot.
Yeah.
And then we destroyed the spike with pirates. And we ended up,
With pirates, you say?
yeah. And to start with, it feels like years ago, but it wasn't. To start with, I had the ability to work with electronics, but then I couldn't do that anymore. And my hands could heal people or hurt them. And then I had wings and I could fly. And I know it sounds crazy, but that's my life. Apparently.
And there's kind of a knock on the door. And he turns. Yes, Dr. Johansson. And a tall, angular man with tied-back black hair is standing there. And he comes and he's like, the time is up, sir. It's, as we've learned, too much of the stimulation is a problem.
You're real?
What?
Once upon a time, we were married. But that's crazy and simulated.
I see. He kind of turns and he's like, I would suggest allowing her to spend some more time with the child and then bringing in the next one.
Yes, please.
And you're given another 20, 25 minutes with Hope and then returned. The interviews with Jack and with Magpie are fairly similar. You're interviewed by someone different. Gabby, someone came and got them throughout the time. When Audrey is returned, Paul looks at you and says, "You ready, Gabs?"
Yeah.
Okay. And he makes his way up to the observation room. So do you remember?
Do you want me to hash through it, or do you want to just say that I
Yeah, I mean, you can
tell
cover
him?
if there's anything specific that stands out to Gabby as a thing. That's one of the big keys. Is what is important to Gabby? What is the memory of Gabby?
You shot me. And it felt real. Near the end of it all, I was really angry. I was told I hurt a lot of people. I don't know. It's all so confusing. This is real.
Yeah. And he reaches across the table and squeezes your hand. It's the first time they've let me interview you.
I don't remember anything outside of the simulation. It's just gone.
It's pretty impressive what they were able to do in the the space of just a few weeks. I don't even know what they can do for people like Audrey, who she was 6 months old when she vanished. The only life she's ever known was inside of that simulator.
I think I'm still angry.
Angry at what?
I don't know whether I'm angry at things that happened in the simulation or I'm angry at this not having everything wiped away from supposedly years of a life that I can no longer recall. And you? Were we happy? Were you happy with the lies?
I was never happy lying to you, Gabs.
Were we happy?
We were. You traveled all over the world, teaching people in cities all over the place based upon where I had to go. You saw all the things you ever wanted. You had everything you wanted, and we were together. And the only thing that ever hurt us both is that we couldn't have kids. But I hated lying to you. But my choices were lie to you or never get to be with you. And I'm sorry if I made a choice that hurt you. But I never meant to.
How am I ever going to know that any of this is real?
You all have asked that question over the past 5 weeks. And I don't know. I don't have that answer. Dr. Johansson tells me that eventually the scarring will fade and you'll eventually be able to accept life as it is. But I don't know. He says for some of you it'll take less time. For others of you it'll take longer. For people like Audrey, interestingly enough, she doesn't have anything to remember besides the simulation. So Dr. Johansson theorizes it'll actually be easier for her. But for people like you who've had your entire life erased and will be expected to remember it, and he squeezes your hand again. When they let you go, because they will, it's coming very soon. I don't expect you to come home with me. Because I know you don't remember. I don't expect you to love me or want to be where I am. Because I know you don't remember. And based on what you've told your other interviewers, the Paul you knew in your dream, I guess is the best way to put it. That's the word Dr. Johansson keeps using. In your dream wasn't someone you trusted. So I don't expect you to come home with me. But I'll be there when you call. whenever you decide that is. And he squeezes your hand again and he stands up. I'll always love you, Gabby. I won't change. Even if you never remember how. And he lets go of your hand. And he turns, and the orderlies are there to escort you back down to the room. Um, 24 more hours goes by. And the door that he had come through to interview you opens. But he's not standing there. And his voice is on the intercom. Go ahead and come upstairs. High Command has finished their evaluation, has decided you guys are ready to go. We've set up apartments, and after some description and some of the skills tests you've done, we've arranged to get you jobs in the city. But you're free to go.
Necklace?
It's up here when you get here, Miss Murdoch.
All right then. I'll come up.
Okay. So Margaret gets into the elevator and Gabby gets into the elevator.
I walk over to Audrey and I'm still here for you. My feelings have not changed, whatever, even if they were fake or implanted. I still feel them. I'll be here for you and for Hope.
Okay. She takes his hand and gets in the elevator.
Okay. So you guys all ride the elevator up, and when you arrive at the top, there's a handful of people there. Dr. Johansson is there. Paul is there. A couple of people you don't recognize are there. A girl comes forward that you do recognize. And she has the baby in one arm, and she has the box in the other. And as you look at her, it's Julie. And she holds the box out to Margaret. And she offers the baby to Audrey. And she hands like a big, like kind of bag full of like baby stuff to Jack. There's written instructions in there on care and feeding and all of that, and like, you know, there's a blanket in there that we've been trying to keep a blanket with you while you sleep so that it smells like you, so she gets used to how the two of you smell. But there is a blanket in there. It has a pink tag on it. It will smell like the nurses, so you can wean her off of us since we're the only thing she's been around for the past 5 weeks. Good luck. And while I'm really sorry that it had to go this way, thanks for letting us look after her. She's amazing. And she kind of squeezes the baby's hand a little bit and hands you the baby and backs up. And Paul comes over and hands all of you folders. These are your names and your addresses and your new jobs, and all of that. Somebody from La Papillon will be checking up on you for at least the first little while to make sure you settle in.
Audrey's going to take a step closer and just very quietly say into Paul's ear, if the symphony happens, a lot of people are going to die.
I don't. And he just like, he gives you this helpless, like, I don't know what you want me to do about it kind of look.
Just, I don't know, better technology for planes or reduce risk or something. Just let people know.
Know what, Audrey?
I already went through it once and I don't want to go through it again.
I told the UN what you told me. That's all I have the authority to do.
Okay. Do we have to not say anything about this to anyone else?
That would be a really good idea. I mean, it's not
Okay.
likely that anyone will believe you. But
Good point.
for the sake of like whatever reputation you hope to build in your new life, maybe you don't want to. I think that's kind of the deterrent the UN's banking on.
Okay.
And he smiles at Hope and kind of wiggles her pinky finger a little bit. And we've all grown pretty fond of her. Take care of her and each other. You all live in the same apartment complex. You're free to move once your leases are up, but we figured it might be nice to have something somewhat familiar around, at least for the time being. Good luck, everyone. And he turns and he just kind of gives this very longing, very sad glance at Gabby before he steps back and a door opens and you guys are all escorted onto a helicopter that flies you to Somerset City Airport. And as you are flown to Somerset City Airport, you come to the understanding that you were on some kind of large military vessel out in the middle of the ocean. You are not located within the city. And as you fly over the city, you are dropped off at the airport and there is a car waiting to take you all to your apartment complex, where you all have relatively simple apartments set aside. They're nice, like they're not like death studio roach houses, but you know, it's definitely not as nice as Margaret's used to. It's nicer than the other three are generally used to in their brains. It's fine. And as you all are, you know, escorted off to your places, and take a gander through your information. Gabby, you are currently a stay-at-home mother who is receiving state assistance as well as some amount of money from Jack's paycheck. Jack, you are a police consultant.
You mean Audrey, not Gabby.
You said
Yes,
Gabby.
sorry, I meant Audrey. There's a lot of E's at the end of names.
Strange.
But Gabby, you are a school teacher at the local high school. Your records show that you have been a substitute, but that you will be becoming a full-time teacher taking over for somebody who's on maternity leave. And Magpie, you work at an art gallery. And a few days go by, and it all seems fairly normal. Your first 24 hours are rocky. You have a hard time waking up in the morning to go and actually do a job, but you guys do it. Second day goes by, and it's starting to get easier, but it's still weird. You decide to get together that evening to have pizza. You have phones, and you realize the only contacts in these phones, other aside from work contacts that you add as you start working, are each other. So you get together that night for pizza. And as you are watching the premiere of Somerset City Idol for that evening, as your pizza arrives, you keep seeing ads for a large festival that will be taking place the following day. And it reminds everybody to stop on by and play the games and celebrate, all of these various things. And it is a 4-day festival extending from Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So you're encouraged to stop by through those things. The next morning, you wake up. And what do you all do since most of the city is shut down for this festival?
Look after a 5-week-old.
Yep.
I'm going to call up Gabby. Hey, Gabby, you want to go to the festival?
Yeah. Sure, anything to get out of this apartment.
Yeah, I know. They could have got us a better place. I mean, really.
Gabby's looking around being like, I think it's kind of nice.
It's kind of nice, at least from what I remember from the thing.
Like oil rub bronze fixtures. Man, way nicer than the chrome I had in my last place.
Doesn't smell like mildew.
Yeah. You're breathing like fully. You're not like concerned about the depth of your breath based on where you were living. It's fine. Okay.
Yeah, let's go. Let's get out for a bit.
Yeah.
So you make your way to the festival and you guys have a good time. Spend the whole day there. It's a lot of fun. Everybody's really excited. You see faces that your brain tells you should remember, but like you can't remember names. A couple of people come and talk to Margaret, who remember Margaret and ask how Margaret's vacation was and how living abroad had been, because you've been gone for, a year. But they're glad to see you back and all of those kind of things. The next day, Saturday, you all once again wake up. And all of you have alerts on whatever kind of pocket calendar device you were given, be it if you were an early adopter of some kind of smartphone, if your sidekick is telling you something, whatever various options.
Palm Pilot.
Yeah, in 2005, your Palm Pilot is definitely doing a thing. But you all... it just lets you know that you have kind of something to do with the other. Whether Jack, you have something to do with Audrey, So you arrive at Audrey's apartment to help take care of Hope. But Magpie and Gabby, you've made arrangements to go back to the festival because there's some big musical act that's supposed to be there this afternoon, as well as the world premiere of a very special painting, the masterpiece of one Jacques Coulot, Man on a Bike, is supposed to be making its premiere at the festival today. And so you are all doing your various things. And all of you, actually, Audrey, give me a smarts roll as you're sitting there bouncing Hope. And Hope is kind of sadly making noise as you're watching the TV with Jack.
7.
Okay. There's a conversation about the festival that is going on TV. It's a news program. The reporter is talking about Man on a Bike and how Man on a Bike will be unveiled at the festival today. And they say, so, mark your calendars today. Today, August 6, 2005. It's a big, important, special day. Man on a Bike here in Somerset City. And as you're standing there, bouncing the baby, your eyes go very wide. And you glance at the clock as you suddenly realize that August 6th, 2005 is the date of the symphony. And you glance at the clock and see that the clock says 11:23. And the symphony took place at 11:27.
Calling the other two on the phone.
Okay.
4
Conference
minutes.
calling in 2005 did not work particularly well.
No, but calling one of them to start like a
Yeah. So
just
pick one.
calling. Wait, is Jack with?
Jack
Jack
is
is
with you.
here. Okay. Calling Margaret.
Okay.
And yelling for Jack whilst calling Margaret.
I come in.
And your phone rings, Margaret, as you're standing around at the entrance to the festival. There's tons of people all around.
Hello, it's Margaret.
Oh, Gabby, today's the symphony. The symphony is today. Just be somewhere safe, please. Call whoever you can. Just call them, okay?
We're
She hangs up.
together. Wait. Okay.
Calling Paul. I'm assuming we've got some kind of contact for them.
Nope.
No? Ugh. Okay. Puts Hope on the floor
I'll take Hope.
make sure she's safe.
Yeah, you probably put Hope in her crib.
Mm-hmm.
And lie down. Just lie down so we don't fall down. Calling as many places as can before potential symphony.
So you just crazily for the
start
next
calling
6 minutes, just randomly. I mean, it took 2 of those minutes to talk to Margaret. So you just randomly you call the Pizza Hut. You call all these things.
I mean, the police. She's smart enough.
Right. So you call the police and essentially get laughed off the phone. You call the fire department and essentially get laughed off the phone.
Yep.
And as you're laying there, you and Jack are lying on the ground. Hope is crying in the other room. Margaret and Gabby, what are you guys doing at the festival?
We'd probably be on the floor in the same room.
We'd be on the floor in the same room as Hope. That's not a thing.
Yeah, it's the 3 of you in a room with Hope. Yeah.
Okay.
Gabby, Audrey says that the symphony's about to happen. I'm not even sure I believe any of this is real, but maybe we should go sit somewhere just in case. I don't want to chip a tooth if I pass out.
No. Do I have Paul's number?
Nope.
No. Okay. Yeah. everything we've been through, let's go sit down.
Okay. So, the time ticks forward. And as you sit there waiting, it approaches 11:27, which is when you know symphony to be. And it ticks and it ticks, and 11:27 comes, and 11:27 passes, and there is no symphony. And 11:30 passes, and there is no symphony. And what do you do?
I get up and pick up Hope.
Okay. As you are standing up from the floor at noon, you hear music in the distance and instantly drop to your stomach because probably of preconditioning. Margaret and Gabby, there in the festival, which is in the large basin surrounding the spike, that music is hugely loud. And you glance to your side, and you can see the sound wave traveling. This musical sound rushing over the people, and you watch as people all throughout Somerset just drop one by one by one by one. And that music rushes over you. And what did the two of you do in this moment as the sound wave nears you, as you sit on a park bench looking up as a Frenchman, pulls off this blue cloth slowly to reveal a painting? He's walking up to take hold of the thing.
It's late. But it did happen.
Yeah. I'm just gonna kind of scooch in close to Margaret.
Yep.
Just kind of lean against her. Yep.
And as Kalur lifts up the cloth, you see just the base of the frame as the sound wave hits him, and the cloth falls back down over the painting, and he pitches forward to the ground. And the sound wave funnels over the two of you. Back in the apartment, the two of you are laying there holding hands, listening to Hope, who's just kind of softly cooing in their crib at this point as that music approaches. What, if anything, would you like to do?
Sit and listen to it. Or lie and listen to it.
Okay. The music is gorgeous. It's some of the most beautiful classical music you've ever heard. And as
Is it familiar?
You've heard it every time you've been in the spike in your simulations. It's exactly the same. And as it swells over you, Hope's crib is closer to the spike center than where the two of you are laying. And Hope's coos go silent. And the music wave rushes over you. And we'll see all of you next Saturday for the next issue of Somerset City. Everybody in chat, thank you so much for joining us this evening for this issue of Somerset City. We are rapidly racing toward our season finale. Just 3 more chapters, 3 more issues left before this trade paperback is complete. I've been your host and storyteller, Eric Taylor. And over there in the comic book, I have wonderful people who've helped me make this story what it is. We're going to start down in the bottom right-hand corner with the bemused looking bird lady herself, Sarah.
Hi, I'm here. I want to see what happens next.
That's good. It would be way worse if you didn't want to see what happens next. You can find Sarah ignoring her Twitter on @RPGameBeast, and you can find her next here on Monday for Storyteller Studio at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, followed up by Paddington Prowler an hour and a half after that. Speaking of someone else who will be on Paddington Prowler, Katie, how are you?
I'm okay.
Just okay, huh?
That was a roller coaster of all kinds of things, not just emotions.
I don't know what other things there would be. You're still physically sitting in the same chair you were at the start
Nothing
of the
makes
game.
sense anymore.
So it's not supposed to. You can't find Katie anywhere other than on Paddington Prowler at 12:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Monday. Then we have Shawnee B.
Hi. I was confused for a moment because you said Bird Lady and then you said Paddington Prowler, and I could have been either of those people because I do both. That was fun.
Good.
I feel young again. Back to 2005. Yeah, this is a great. 2005 was a good. I mean, it was not now, which is easier times. I had fun. You can find me at wordswithcolor.com. You can find me here for Storyteller Studio and Paddington Prowler. You can find me on Scraticus's channel at 2 p.m. Eastern on a Tuesday. You can find me, on Twitter at Chantel B. And you can find me confused by the entire happenings of this session.
Good.
It's been great.
And we have Jeff.
You have Jeff. Jeff is fun. Good. Jeff is having fun.
That's what matters.
Jeff is channeling his inner Owen.
All right. My name's been Eric Taylor. I've been your storyteller. You can find all of our happenings on @DoRespite on Twitter, and then you can find us here Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays at Do Respite Time, which is 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But until Monday, where we'll be back with Storyteller Studio and Paddington Prowler, I'm Eric Taylor, and on behalf of Chantel, Katie, Jeff, and Sarah, good night, good luck, stay safe, and stay healthy, and we'll see you all next week. Bye-bye, everybody.